Arts education is the way that young people are given a voice.
Arts education is super important overall, not only just in theater, but in other aspects like creative writing and music education. It really opens the door for a lot of kids to self-express, and you don't really always get that in education overall because everything is really focused on academics and standardized testing. I don't know, creative writing to language arts, it opens the doors for people not only to self-express in interests like musical theater, but also maybe they like history, maybe they like language arts, maybe they like other forms of academics and can really open up in those other areas and not so traditional ways.
Theater means a lot to me, first off. For me, it first and foremost is my source of happiness. It's where I can come and be free and be myself, and I can really let like my crazy side out when I'm on stage, and I just have that freedom to be a different person and find that it's like a way for me to, it's a self-expression. It's like an outlet for me for all of my stress and all of my like strife that's built up throughout the week, and it's just a really great way to de-stress and connect with the really amazing people. And on the note of amazing people, theater also is the way I made most of my best friends. So for me, it is where I like find my happiness, whether that's personal happiness and self-love and self-confidence and an outlet to de-stress, but it's also where I find my other source of happiness, which is my friends and my second family.
So theater, I think, is important for everyone that's involved in it because it really just like creates a lot of like irreplaceable bonds and friendships that like last lifetimes, honestly, and it like broadens your outreach to multiple like communities, and honestly like the arts in general just make a huge impact on the community and on the lives of everyone that ever like has something to do with it.
Theater means a lot to me. It gives me the opportunity to step out of myself, and I know people deal with insecure issues and confidence issues, and this allowed me as a young girl to transform into somebody that I've always wanted to be. So ever since then, it helps me make character choices and builds up my confidence, and I feel like theater can really change anybody's life it can change anybody's life to really mature and to step out of your comfort zone in your box and to really just experience and be around people who love to do the same thing as you want to do.
Arts education is very important because it offers new avenue to express yourself, and a lot of people end up being more creative in other avenues that they go into, and it also allows an outlet from the troubles of the world.
Arts education is so important because even if you don't want to pursue a career in the arts, introduction to theater, to music, to poetry, to painting is also important in creating good community benefits. You know, if I'm introduced to theater and I want to go into business and marketing, I know how to talk to people, I know how to relate to people, I also know how to put on a pitch, and I just think that being educated in the arts allows people my age to experience other people. And obviously, you know, a boy in makeup can make friends with other boys in makeup or make friends with the same wants and needs, and it just creates this whole community, and it's so important for kids.
They're given a chance to say what they need to say about their experience in life. That is probably the only place where they're truly empowered to speak the stories they need to tell, to say what they have to say. Now, sometimes that means that they're writing poetry themselves, or fiction, or they're dancing, whether it's choreography by somebody else or a choreography that they get to interpret, or being in a play or a musical. That is the chance for them to say and be who they want to be without the burden of the rest of what the world very often puts on young people. Arts education encourages imagination, and it is really the only place in an educational environment where imagination is the primary tool or the primary muscle that is exercised, okay? Imagination leads to empathy, all right? Which means I can imagine myself in somebody else's circumstances. That's what actors do, pretend to be somebody else, and they have to imagine themselves in those imaginary circumstances, right? Those other pretend circumstances. And then when they have that ability to have an empathetic experience, they can have compassion for somebody else because they can imagine themselves being in that circumstance, and then they have compassion and they are going to take action to make the world better for people who are not like them. And that's the only place in an educational environment where that happens, and it will change the world.